The After Dark with Jamie and Clint podcast is sponsored by Spicer Industries, LLC. Now, it's time to start the show.
When the sun goes down, we turn it up. After dark is when we fill your cup. Clint's got stories, Jamie's got jokes. The gloves are come off. After dark with Jamie and Clint. After dark, let the show begin. The gloves have come off, we're letting it fly. After dark is where the real talk lives.
Marked Men for Christ, building stronger men for Jesus Christ.
Jamie and Clint, take it away.
But anyway, welcome to After Dark with Jamie and Clint. I'm Clint, he's Jamie.
Still. Already done that part, man.
Well, yeah. They didn't know that. I was going to edit that part out.
Oh, hey. Sorry about that. So if you want a professional experience,
Yeah, I did it there. This is not it. Anyway, so we have very special guests with us. This is Gabriel and Jen Pop, and they are, first and foremost, they are Templars. They've got, y'all can back me up on a lot of Templar stuff. And I'm trying to recruit Jamie into being a Templar, but
I'm just busy.
yeah, he just,
Come on. I'm not against it. Guy put me on the spot.
So
Anyway, anti-Templar.
not anti-Templar, no. But that's not really the reason why you guys are here. You guys are here for something that we're going to talk about, and I'm not going to let it out yet. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes. But I really wanted you to introduce yourselves and tell everybody a little bit about where you're from and.
All right, I'm Gabriel. Everybody in the ministry, they just hear Gabriel. They know who you're talking about. Most of the time, I rarely ever give my last name. And the Marine Corps has taught me you can pronounce it Poppy, Poop. I got that a lot in the Marines.
I like poop.
Or Pope, because we used to tell people it's Pope, but it's Pope with a double P, or you do
Two P's, no E.
Two P's, no E. Go Team Pope.
Team Pope.
Team poop.
Well, yeah. So you mentioned the Marine Corps. I do. We represent 4 different branches of the military sitting at this table. Well, we represent.
Okay.
There's a 4th branch.
Space Force.
Space Force.
No.
I would so join Space Force.
Her dad was Air Force.
Army and Air
Army
National
and
Guard.
Air National Guard, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was particularly thinking about, because I know my wife Jen would say this, but Navy, Marine Corps, Army, military spouse.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean,
That's good.
Yeah. Well, you think
Because they serve with
What are
us
you doing?
same time.
I'm beating up this.
Jake in here?
I should bring Jeff up in here, because then they pump it and then down. Anyway, I also don't speak English sometimes.
That's true.
But anyway, four branches of service are represented here. I just thought that was pretty cool, and when we got together, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
And then of course, your dad, that would de facto be the Air Force.
In fact, he may outrank you all. He was lieutenant colonel as he retired.
Okay, yeah, right. Need that.
Yeah.
That's a grunt.
I work for a living. I was enlisted.
And limited. I don't even know what I was saying.
I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
it's every rank structure too. It's enlisted or officer. There is a point where you go from caring about your troops primarily to having to play the politics game.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of guys that they never go beyond that rank because they don't want to play politics.
Yes.
Their soldiers, their Marines, their sailors, or airmen are far more important to them than playing the politics side. So you see that. I had the career staff sergeant that I worked with. I mean, he knew he was never going to be above a staff sergeant.
Yeah, he was good with it too.
Yeah, he was very good with it, but he didn't care to play politics. And he was very open about that.
And most of them do that to get good parking spaces. Right. There you go. And that's a fact.
Well, my father said any military person that wears a star is a politician first.
Yes, that is very true.
Coffee got me, man. The flavor.
You should give up coffee.
No, you get weird stuff.
I get weird stuff.
It's infused with something.
It's infused with goodness.
Yeah, but Gabriel made that pot. It's probably a bit stronger.
Yeah, because generally the
That's
coffee,
what it was. That marine coffee.
Oh yeah, well I get this coffee out of Florida. The name of the coffee itself, not the brand. The name is called Brutal Awakening.
Oh yeah, I'll need that in my life.
Oh, it's like jet fuel. I love that stuff.
I sent Jamie a video this past week as and what was it? Jesus and all I need is Jesus in my coffee.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's a video.
So, but anyway, Gabriel, where are you from?
I was born in Virginia, Newport News, Virginia, and then moved down to Greensboro area. I was about 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I was a wee fella. And second oldest of 6, and then I had a rough, great parents. My parents were very good. They did the best they could, loved every one of us equally. I mean, that is one thing none of us can say is that any one of us was more of a favorite than the others. I was without a doubt the problem child, because I had an older brother before me and then a sister right after me. So I was kind of that, secondary. I felt secondary, but it was, my parents never, felt any different. Cool. Well, then what is it? We just moved back a year and a half ago, something like that. So yeah, most of my life here in North Carolina, and then 14 years ago moved to Tennessee to get away from a lot of what I was dealing with in North Carolina, the struggles I was having, that kind of stuff. I just wanted to get away. And that's when the Lord led me to her, and we had a wonderful life in Tennessee where she was born and raised. And then we just, the Lord led us back here to North Carolina, a place I happened to never say or said that I was never going to come back to.
Really? Yeah.
I had no intention of ever coming back to North Carolina.
Never tell God what you're going to do with it.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will. You said that your parents all of you the same. Jamie knows this story. I have 3 daughters, and one of the things I had in my mind was I told each of my daughters independently, you're my favorite, but don't tell your sisters. And I told all 3 of them that. And now my plan was, when I was dead, and they're looking over my casket, I want one of them to go, Dad said I was his favorite. And they're like, no, he said I was his, it's like one final joke, man. Yeah, one final joke, right? Now, what I didn't realize is that, and you can attest to this, girls talk. And they, so all three of my daughters knew that I told all 3 of them that, they knew what was going on. So, unbeknownst to me. So one Christmas, I got a gift, and usually it says, to Dad from, one of the girls or whatever, but it just said Dad. So I don't know who it was from, and it's kind of odd. But anyway, I opened it up, and it was a T-shirt, and the T-shirt read on the front of it said, my favorite daughter gave me the shirt. And then my 3 daughters said, all right, Dad, who gave you the shirt?
Great.
I turned it back around on you. So, I'll tell my siblings, my sister, I'll tell my middle sister, you're my favorite second sister.
Yeah. And how long have you guys been together? Been married?
We will have been married 4 years in April.
Oh, cool. Kind of like newlyweds.
Yeah, we were together. It will be a total of 8 years in April also coming up. So
that is one of the things she has accepted about me is I'm dedicated. I don't remember dates.
I can in the whole 8 years. I don't think he actually knows my birthday.
It took that long. This past year I just remembered her birthday, the actual date, to write it down one time. It was the first time.
Dude,
but you still got the date wrong because the boss told me happy birthday the day before.
Yes, I did. I did. Yeah.
You know what?
It's okay though, man.
You know what you should have done? A friend of mine did this, and
tattoo on your finger.
No, he got married on his birthday, so he always remembers the anniversary.
So funny story. I went through CVS pharmacy. Wife sitting beside me, picking up. She says, "Hey, tell you here to pick it up for case it whatever." And I did, and she goes, "Okay, birthday," and I was like, I looked over at her. She's like, "Yeah." So yeah, I get you. I learned at that point. I was like, "Why didn't you do that?" So, it happens.
No.
But
It's a regular thing,
I'm the odd one. I guess maybe because I'm a girl dad, but I know my wife's birthday. I know our anniversary. Matter of fact, I actually played a joke on my wife I convinced her for like 3 years that our anniversary was the 21st, and it was actually the 20th of July. And I had the 20, and like for 3 years, I had her convinced it was the 21st.
dude, we still debate on our date. We don't. I just go with whatever she says.
Yeah.
Pretty sure she's wrong.
Yeah, Gabriel.
Yeah. What is it, man?
The 30th.
Of?
April. It's April. April. Yeah.
I was gonna say she just said it. Come on, you get it.
Yeah. He got it.
Well, I'd say most of the time, even my birthday, it's like because it really is after you've gone through combat tours, things like birthdays are just going whatever. It's but so it's like she'll say, "Hey, here, birthday's coming up." I'm like, "Yeah, it's sometimes." She's like, "It's this day." And I'm like, okay, somebody will ask me how old I am, and I'm like, I'm 40.
You'll be 44.
Oh, you already told me you're 44.
I thought it was 44.
So he will be 44.
I will be 44.
Will be 44.
Yeah, Mike, I heard it wrong. I don't know.
He is 43 right now.
Okay.
I'm right there with you, man. Don't worry.
The only thing that I know that I'm getting older is I don't wake up as fast, and things are hurting now. That's.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't feel any different.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
Because you will find stupid ways to hurt yourself as you get older. I hurt my back. I got a back brace on now. I hurt my back sneezing. I am kidding you. I sneeze. I told you she was on Zeke.
I remember in combat. I mean, in Nasiriyah in Iraq. I turned 21. I had a buddy of mine that crawled over from his 240 Golf, his machine gun, with one of our MRE pound cakes and a cigarette stuck in it. He said, "Happy birthday," and then we started taking fire.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and that was so. It is,
birthday.
but at that age range, you're in that. That's why I mean, they say it's a old man's war, but the young that die.
Yep.
Because at that age, you don't really recognize that you could die. I mean, you're so stubborn, you're so gung-ho that you just go in and do your job. And it's not until well afterwards that what you just experienced is going to be a lasting effect.
Right.
And so it was, I went down a deep, dark hole. I mean, because I had no idea what I was dealing with. I mean, when you come back from combat, they're on ship and they give you, because we rode ship over and then on the way back as Marines, and they gave us some silly little form that, asked us, "Do you think you're going to have any issues with people when you get home?"
Oh,
I mean, those are the questions they asked us.
You're a Marine. You're not going to have any problem.
Right. And it's nobody prepares you for this stuff. Yeah. I mean, you have no idea what you're going to deal with. You have no idea. I just went and did a thing. And so, and then you come back into the real world. And when the real world is a lot softer than what you just experienced, your reaction to that soft world is often very bad.
I've never heard it put like that.
No.
That is the best way. Because I've been asked that stuff too. And I'm like, I don't know how to articulate that. I love how you put that.
Well, I mean, it was, I think one of the things at that time period, that's when like games like Call of Duty were coming out.
Yeah.
And I would have kids come up, "So is war really like Call of Duty?"
Oh man.
And it would just make me mad. It's like, yeah, except for you don't respawn.
Yeah, there you go.
It's really you. You're not somebody behind a controller.
I tell you, when we got back, as me and a group of guys from one of the first missions, whatever you want to call it, deployments, we came back, and we went to a Walmart. Right? Like, you got a Walmart. Mm-hmm. And, dude, we walked in, and I'll never forget, we're all in uniform there. We're young, we're tough, we're bad. We're like, man, look at everybody just running around like crazy. Like, there's no order. We freaked out and left.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when you start to realize, okay. But as you get older, why do you think it comes out as you get older? Because for a long time I was fine.
Oh, yeah.
And I go to the VA, and I told you this, and I did my little psychological eval as I'm older in my 40s, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm cool, I'm whatever. And then I look at it, I'm going, crap, I'm nuts. Apparently, you know, I didn't know I had all these issues. Why do you think it's like that?
It's the best way I can equate it. It's like a cup, yeah, and more is poured into that cup, but there is a cap on that cup.
Yeah.
But that cap's made of rubber, and all it takes is for one thing to come along and poke a hole in that rubber, and for all that liquid that's been building pressure to just blow out. And that, for me, that's what happened, because it was just. I was just burying it because there was very much that stigma of I'm not, you know, I'm a Marine. I'm not dealing with anything. Nothing's wrong with me. You just bury it. I mean, and it's there was still no real help. Like, they didn't advertise. Like now with the VA, it is like because of the suicide rate with veterans, it is everywhere. I mean, they know. I mean, if you show up at any VA facility, if you say anything where you're struggling mentally with suicide, they instantly have to take you. There's no questions asked. They have to bring you in. And it's because of stuff like that. My generation, the amount of suicides from guys coming back where these pressure cookers just finally exploded. And it's, for me, it was that one thing just set it all off. And unfortunately, that one thing just happened to be, you know, within my own family.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it's because your own family, and you cannot explain to somebody what it's like to live a nightmare, because in their wildest, worst nightmare, they cannot fathom what it's like to actually face your own mortality at the end of a barrel. And they can't wrap their head around that. So there is no possible way for them to understand that. And so you're explaining something and wasting your breath and just getting angrier because they can't understand something that they have no rational ability to understand it. Yeah. So you just shut down.
And you also have a hard time putting it into words.
Yes.
Where they can understand.
Oh, yeah.
It's frustrating, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Because I tell you, dude, I'm a little older than you. I'm 49. I don't look it.
I was going to say, you got less grade than I got.
Hey, man, I got this from my daughter dating.
You look like 59.
Thank you so much. Clint's in his 60s. Clint's in his 60s. But I remember lots of different things, and as you go along, like just recently I told a buddy of mine, I didn't even tell you this, but something popped up. You know, you go in those little rabbit holes, you're just chasing around, and it popped up about PTSD and nightmares. And I was like, I've never had a nightmare. And my wife has told me, oh, I mean, you know, you wake up all through the night, you'll holler out at people. She's like, cold sweats or waking up, you know, just drenched. And I found out, I was like, I dream a lot. I've never dreamed about combat. But I have dreamed, and I didn't realize this until recently, about I'm getting chased and I can't get away. Or I'm trying to save somebody, like, you know, help a loved one and I can't help them. And they were like, these are PTSD nightmares. And I thought it was all like flashbacks.
Oh, yeah. No.
But it manifests in so many ways. And I say all that just to say, before I went over from the first deployment, a guy who had been in the Guard but never saw deployment, just a friend of the family, he said, listen, he said, don't come back playing the crazy card. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I firmly believe you come back the way you came over, or the way you went over. So some people are just wired for it, some aren't. I said, okay, fair enough. And I said that. I was like, these guys that's out here getting, you know, whatever help, man, full of crap. They were crazy before they went. And then when you live it, and I think you said it too, you kind of hit on it, and I want to ask you about this. I don't mean to hijack the interview, but I want to ask you about this. Then it becomes the stigma, at least for me and a lot of guys I know, of I'm not crazy.
Yes.
I don't have issues, yet I do. How do you find peace with that? Like, how do you work through that?
You have to accept it for what it is. Yeah. That you have something, and fortunately for me, I had the help of a Vietnam vet that recognized what I was doing and how I was behaving, and he knew exactly what I was dealing with.
So you didn't even realize it?
I didn't really realize
it was coming out.
It was coming out. And he happened to say, I know what you're going through, and I know how to get you help. And he led me to a guy named Charlie Claiborne, who was a representative for the AMVETS. And I went and talked to this guy, Charlie, and I said, he asked me a whole bunch of questions. It was about 15 minutes. At the end, he said, well, son, you're crazy. And he said, but that's not your fault. And he said, we're going to get you taken care of.
Cool.
And it was the first time recognition. There is something there. I'm not making this up. I'm not this me that I've become is something that was created. That This is not who I used to be. And you have no rationale of it. I mean, even now, I'm long beyond it. Jesus has done an enormous amount of work in my heart.
That's awesome.
And I still have, there are particular things that will cause me issues.
But you know what was hard? I remember coming back to the airport, in particular one time, people clapping and all that, we couldn't watch it through. But I remember me and a few other guys we went and got some drinks. We felt very irritated, not at them, but like, what about the guys that went with us that ain't here and
They'll
didn't
come back. Yeah.
So it's always just this weird bag of emotions, man.
I'm not a hero because I survived.
Right.
Well, yeah, and speaking of surviving, not all casualties, as you mentioned earlier, not all casualties happen over there.
No.
No. Your unit, you're the only one that's.
We had one guy directly in my squad that got killed, and when I came back, though, 5 other guys took their lives, and I ended up in the VA hospital 9 different times,
Wow.
and had 12 suicide attempts. So it was because I couldn't figure out why I couldn't sleep, why I was so angry, why everybody around me was just ticking me off. It was everything. It was even to, I remember at one point, there was a job I had at salvage yard. I worked in a salvage yard, and there was a guy behind the salvage yard that happened to be on his backyard and was firing an AK that he had.
Ooh.
It took him 2 or 3 hours to find me because I was up under one of the salvage vehicles in a fighting position. And I don't recognize or remember much of that time period because I was so focused. Like, I was back.
Yeah.
Because that sound of that weapon in particular, you know what that sound is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, that for me, that was a legitimate flashback with the nightmares, the night terrors, sleeping 1 to 2 hours a night. That was a regular thing.
Yeah.
I even in relationships, I would have girlfriends that, this is, long before I really knew Jesus, but I would have girlfriends that would wake me up saying, you're punching me in your sleep. She's like, yeah, you're just screaming at me and you're punching me in your sleep. And fortunately, she's not had to experience that.
Yeah.
So that's
some big old hands, man. They're punching it.
So it's terrifying. You get to where you're scared to go out. And I spent, it was 8 years effectively in where I would not leave my apartment, where I would just go walk up to the grocery store, pick up groceries, come back and stay in my apartment.
Yeah. But I think what it is you bury, because you're like, y'all have the problem, not me.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's kind of what it was with you?
Not only do you bury it, but it is the acceptance that because you can't understand.
Yeah.
It's your fault. It took me years to recognize this. Long time to recognize this, that with PTSD in particular, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what kind of PTSD it is, because PTSD can come from, trauma as a child. It can come from, rape. Anything, whatever it be, combat,
police.
But it is because people, they just want to help. They truly just want to help, but they have no idea how to help. Right. And you want to be just leave me alone.
You just want to be normal.
I just be in the room and let me know you're there. That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't try to help, because with PTSD, you recognize you have no concept of how to help something you have never experienced. Yeah.
It's like trying to do CPR on somebody and you've never been trained in CPR. Right. And so you're saying, don't do CPR on me. You don't know what you're doing.
Right.
You're breaking my ribs right.
Yeah.
How was it with as a girlfriend at the time? How was it? Was it ever a how do I get you help, or how did you ever broach the subject with him of
He got
PTSD?
issues.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I did.
She was very patient.
I'm an empath. Like, I'm just a caregiver person. I was a massage therapist at the time when we met and everything else like that. And so I genuinely did want to help. I came from a medical family, and so I recognize that. And he even told me, that he did suffer with PTSD and some anxiety and things like that. And I think I pushed the boundaries quite a bit, taken to the edge, but then, recognizing that I did not need to push further and on some instances. So it would be like I would push just enough to be like, where are we at right now? And then, it would come back to we just need to not push further, but address what we've already talked about. So it was more or less being patient. And just understanding, kind of like what he said, was there are days where I legitimately just needed to sit with him during those days and let him do whatever he was doing, playing his video game, cleaning up his room, like us going and I think we went to lunch, a lot. But if he just wanted to be where he was, it wasn't that he didn't want me there, but there wasn't really much I could do. So I just needed to be, just be.
So 2021 comes around, and I had a guy that had known me since I was, knee high to a grasshopper. I mean, he'd known me my entire life, and he had had his own PTSD experiences. And he said, "Hey, man, I found this ministry that I really think you ought to look into." He said, "I'm gonna go to one of these weekends, and I really think you ought to look into it." And for me, I was at such a low point because my anger, my depression was starting to, just crater, that I went to the website and looked at it, and there's just a handful of questions they ask you on the front of the website from markmenforchrist.org. And I read those questions, and I was like, "Yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. Yep, that's me." I was like, "All right, I'm in."
But you also recognize the camaraderie of guys. This gentleman had experienced PTSD. He knew Gabriel experienced a PTSD. Yeah. He personally did not want to go to it by himself. Right. So that's what he was saying. I really think you should go, but it was more or less, don't let me go by myself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there are a lot of guys that do this, that do that.
Was you ever? Was you ever? I know he was never aggressive with you or violent with you, but were you ever afraid of him that maybe he would cross that line?
Actually, I really wasn't. I just as we look back on our stories, wholeheartedly, I believe that was God, because easily I could have been terrified of this guy. I mean, just easily. Most people were. I mean, my family was kind of like, "Whoa, are you sure you want to dig into this?" Like,
Did you have this look out here?
No, it was a little harsher.
It was a little harsher.
Marine combat vet, like, and my dad was like, "I understand, I get it." He was getting a little protective, but I was like, "I got it," and it was just kind of like, I didn't have it. God definitely had it, because easily, just as the type of person I am, would have been completely terrified of who he was.
Yeah.
Now, did you already have you already had a relationship with Jesus?
Yeah, I grew up like in the Baptist church, and I was saved at 7, and we all go through our rebellious phase. Oh, yeah. So I definitely did that hardy. I was involved with a motorcycle club before we met.
Yeah.
Kind of with some of the guys and stuff like that, but in turn, our relationship made me go deeper into my relationship with God too. So, it kind of coincided 100%.
She definitely had a much firmer grasp on who Christ was than I did. Because I grew up in church, but when I came back, to have an old lady in the church that had known me since I was a little kid come up to me and say, "You should have been over there." That was like,
What was that about?
She was just one of those anti-war people.
Yeah.
And so
So it was your fault for
it was,
being over
yeah,
there.
it was my fault for being over there.
And so
It's
any
like,
issues,
I didn't make that choice.
Any issues you're dealing with is
Right.
your own fault
Right.
because you shouldn't have been over there.
And so that just made me angry.
Oh,
And so
yeah,
that's,
that would-
and
yeah.
so that kind of opened my eyes. And that's, unfortunately, that is where I started seeing a lot of the hypocrisy that goes into church hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, and because it just, you get burned.
Yeah.
And so I recognize what church hurt is because I experienced it myself.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of people that they're very good at keeping that pew warm, but when it comes to living that book,
Oh, brother.
not
Don't
so
get
good.
us started.
you know, but it's and you see it growing up. I saw it growing up where it's like, if you're in, everything's all good in your life. Hey, the church loves you. But the minute you start having struggles, the people that should build you up tend to be the ones that tear you down.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was horrible to watch that. And now, praise God, a lot of churches have recognized that. So a lot of the newer churches, the newer generations of churches have recognized our job is to wrap people in and love them,
Right.
not to tear them down when they need us most. And the churches, unfortunately, the churches that are of that mindset, that clubhouse mentality, what I always called it, those are a lot of churches, their doors are shut.
Well, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing.
No.
I'm not going to say
well, yeah, that's true.
You know, I want to point some out and ask you something. I know you got some notes that you want to bring some stuff out, so don't let us get y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But I'll say this to you. So you had the issue with the gunfire and all that stuff. I remember for me, and it's only been the last couple of years that I'm kind of coming around, you know, the Lord is leading me through this journey. But my thing was, I was so disgusted with who I had become.
Yes.
He didn't want to be tied to that I got rid of all guns. I cleaned up the way I dressed, preppy and stuff, you know, which, yes. But my point is I did not want to be associated. You know, no military shirts, got rid of all that stuff, whatever. I was like, not that I was anti, just trying to fit whatever mold. But I was going to ask you about that when it comes to an identity. I think that was my issue. I had been confused about my identity all these years. This is who I am. This is who I am. This is who I'm not. It wasn't until I met Christ truly that he began to tell me who I was created to be.
Yes.
Do you feel some connection with that?
I absolutely do. Only where you pushed it all away, I embraced it. I looked at it as, okay, something is wrong with me, so I am going to be the worst part of me.
And I was like, there's something wrong, so I'm going to not.
Yeah,
deny it.
right. So there was one point black hair, covered in tattoos, head to toe. I put tattoos. I had like the one picture I showed you. I had a swastika in the middle of my forehead, and that was put on to keep people away because I wanted people to leave me alone.
So you didn't believe that ideology?
No,
you were just
I was never raised that way. I just knew you put a swastika on your forehead, that's going to keep people away. Only God's plan was much different.
Yeah, man.
He would have just regular black folks come up to me and they would say, why do you got that on your head, man? Which would in turn make me, I'd have to tell my story. And at the end of that, they'd say, man, that ain't you. You need to get that taken off of you. But white folks would look at me and see what I look like, and they grab their kids and walk away like I was going to eat their children.
That's what you wanted.
It was the opposite of what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted people to go away, but it's how that happened was completely different than what I thought. So when Bart introduced me to this ministry, Marked Men for Christ, I was like, what else have I got to lose? I am so low in this pit. I don't know where else to look. And that is a blessing. When you're that low, you only have one direction to look, and it's up.
Amen to that,
And
brother.
there are times where he's just waiting. God is just waiting for that time period.
That's all the time we have. Join us next week for the conclusion of our conversation. For Jamie and Clint, this is Delroy 2. See you then.
The proceeding has been a production of Clammy Productions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.
When the sun goes down, we turn it up. After dark is when we fill your cup. Clint's got stories, Jamie's got jokes. The gloves are come off. After dark with Jamie and Clint. After dark, let the show begin. The gloves are come